You're watching The World. Welcome back to the programme. Well, we've been focusing tonight on the extraordinary claims from an Israeli military whistleblower about the conduct of forces in Gaza. With me now is the UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories, Francesca Albanese. Thank you so much, Ms. Albanese, for joining us here on the programme. I just want to first of all get your reaction to our report and the young soldier who talked about some of the atrocities and some of the crimes that he witnessed.
This is not the first account of this sort that I come across. And yes, now this kind of testimonies are becoming more frequent. But I've also been hearing from Israelis on the ground that there is an alarm within the society because most of the young people coming out of Gaza who have been fighting what Israeli leaders clearly keep on calling a war, the impact that it has had on the soldiers, while the dehumanization of the Palestinians among them still continues. Many of them are haunted by what they have done, what they have seen. It doesn't make sense. This is not a war. This is an assault against civilians. And this is producing a fracture in many of them. Many of them are assisted by psychotherapists, but many of them are committing suicide. And instead of being in a state of denial, the state should stop and pause because the entire Israeli society is falling apart, especially the younger population, which has been turned into the willful executioner of a genocidal attack.
Well, we've seen 20 months of this, and we're also hearing from young Israeli soldiers coming out, whether it's in the Haaretz report that we saw last week or whether speaking to us, saying that there seems to be, from what we're hearing, a complete breakdown in the chain of command.
Well, my sense, and I've been looking at what the army has been doing since day one of this apocalyptic, or of what it is an apocalyptic scenario right now in Gaza. And there has been something that has looked different from any other wars that Israel has engaged with against Gaza, against the entrapped population in that enclave that is Gaza. And it has been destructive from the very beginning. There has been an intention to destroy. The thing is that, as that soldier's testimony reveals, that especially the youngest among the soldiers have been convinced that this was a form of patriotism, of defending Israel and the Israeli society against this opaque but still very heartfelt enemy, which is Hamas. Everyone has been accused of being Hamas, a terrorist or supported to terrorism. But the thing is that they've come to confront the reality with, amid the rubble of Gaza, there were civilians, there were children collecting the remains and even among the rubble and trying to get a living. And they've been killed just for being in the wrong place. This is a script that has been enforced over the Palestinians for a long time. And probably this is the first time that the Israelis the Israeli soldiers are awakening to this. And they don't make sense to this because their attachment to being part of the IDF, which is embedded in their national ideology, is too strong. They cannot be traitor to that ideal, and this is why they are psychologically broken.
I want to ask you about a new report that you have put out where you're linking corporations with human rights issues. And you've called for sanctions and arms embargo on Israel for global corporations and to be held accountable for what you say is profiteering from genocide in Gaza. Can you tell me a little bit about this report and what you feel needs to be done?
Yeah, this is the outcome of over the 6 months long investigation during which I've received hundreds and hundreds of submissions, spoken with investigative journalists, sources on the ground, and built on literature that is decades old. In a sense, I've exposed not much a list of companies implicated in the genocide, but a system that it is made of the private sector, from arms manufacturers, tech companies, civilian businesses involved in construction and destruction, good and service producers, but even banks, pension funds, universities, that have become all enmeshed in the economy of the occupation that Israel has maintained for 57 years, that has helped it displace the Palestinians to destruction and segregation and replace them with settlers and settlements and infrastructure that Israel runs. This has generated an economy that was lucrative even before 20 months ago. So technically, I could have written part of this report 2-3 years ago. However, over the past 20 months, that economy has shifted toward an economy of genocide, in the sense after October 7, Israel had to switch all its veer toward an economy of war, declare the deficit, and the financial sector, banks, and other financial institutions have helped Israel gain all the capitals that through selling bonds and getting other finances through other means. This has given the means to Israel to sustain itself, but also the credibility to keep on attracting investments while credit ratings was falling apart. The trust of the market was shrinking. And then the military sector and other parts of the private sector have really profiteered from what has happened, like the weapon industry, the tech industry, have not only helped Israel carry out the destructive assault that it has unleashed against Gaza, but have helped the stock exchange of Israel rise of 179% and amass $220 billion from October 2023 until last month. 70 billion. It has the stock exchange has amassed 70 billion just in the last month. How it's possible?
These companies, we've approached them, and they have sent us statements to deny this is the case. They say it's untrue. For example, the AI development company Palantir has sent us a statement saying this is unequivocally untrue.
Well, it's interesting that the CEO of Palantir is on record, and this was it's publicly available. Once he was challenged, they say, "Oh, you are helping Israel kill Palestine, our families, kill Palestinians," and he said, "Well, yeah, most probably terrorists." It's an admission of knowledge that Israel was killing those numbers of people, and steadily the death toll has involved, as reported, 70% of women and children. So he knew that the level of killing involved civilians, but it does not matter for him. And again, I just assessed the reality. I made known my findings and legal assessment to the company. Some of them have engaged in good faith, others have not. But the point is that they seem not to understand the legal framework. I mean, companies cannot engage in acts that are prohibited to states. The International Court of Justice and international criminal courts have proceedings against Israel for genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, which is a red line. Companies cannot engage, especially with what the ICJ has declared an unlawful occupation that amounts to a violation of the UN Charter. So the companies can be held responsible for being directly linked to or contributing or causing human rights impacts. Here we are not talking of human rights violations. Here we are talking of crimes, plausibly genocide, an assault that has pulverized Gaza. And I directly link some of those companies like the big tech, the weapons manufacturers, and also some civilian businesses like companies like Hyundai and Volvo. Their machinery has been used to demolish and uproot homes to build settlements in the West Bank and to crash homes in Gaza. They know that. There is video evidence.
Francesca, before I let you go, I have about a minute left. I just want to ask you about this DINA project report. They're now saying there's evidence that they're about to publish a report which finds that sexual violence was widespread and systematic on October 7, especially around the Nova Music Festival. I just want to get your reaction to that.
Look, I cannot comment on this report, which is the first time I hear of. However, there has been an investigation of the Commission of Inquiry on Israel-Palestine about what happened on October 7. And it's been very difficult for the Commission of Inquiry to access the victims. I've read other reports written by including Israeli sources, Physicians for Human Rights, who have backtracked from what they said in the beginning. So, of course, I cannot pronounce myself on violence that I don't know of. If it has occurred, of course it deserves justice. There is no question about that. But how do we link that with what Israel has been doing for 20 months? Whatever happened on October 7, and there was violence, there were crimes committed against Israelis, but it doesn't justify this. And what do we say about the torture and rape that has even against the Palestinian inmate that's been justified in the Israeli Knesset?
Well, we're going to be looking deeper into that tomorrow on the programme. Francesca Albanese, thank you very much for joining us.